In the vast expanse of space, the Galactic Empire had always been a force that no one dared oppose. For centuries, they had controlled trade routes, expanded their dominion, and ensured that no planet stood in their way. Their ships were faster than light, their weapons powerful, and their influence far-reaching. And then there was Earth, a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy, home to a species known as humans. The Empire had never paid much attention to Earth. To them, it was just another isolated world, quiet and far from the center of galactic affairs. But that was about to change. One crisp morning, the Galactic Empire issued a decree that sent shockwaves across the galaxy. They would establish a direct hyperspace route through the Sol system. This new route would make it easier for their ships to travel, opening up more opportunities for trade, exploration, and control. The Empire, under the leadership of Emperor Velon, expected no resistance. After all, no one had ever dared to deny them passage through their space. But when the Galactic Council sent a message to Earth's leaders, they were met with a response that no one had anticipated. The message was short, direct, and unequivocal. No passage will be granted. Earth had spoken, and it was not a request. It was a command. The council members were stunned. How could Earth, a planet that had only recently begun to explore space, reject the mighty Empire? The Imperial fleet, led by Grand Legate Vorthar, was dispatched immediately to put an end to this defiance. Vorthar was a seasoned military leader, known for his ruthlessness and efficiency. He had never encountered resistance that he couldn't crush swiftly, and he fully expected Earth to back down once they saw the might of the Empire. But there was something about this refusal that troubled him. Earth was different. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The decision of Earth's leaders was seen as an unprecedented act of defiance. Most civilizations couldn't believe it. The Empire was the galaxy's supreme power. How could a single planet stand against them? Some alien nations whispered that Earth's leaders were simply bold, while others thought they were foolish. But there was one thing that all could agree on. Earth had made a dangerous move. Back on Earth, the leaders gathered in a grand council chamber, a room filled with diplomats, scientists, military commanders, and the most influential people from every nation. The air was tense. They had never faced a situation like this. Some argued that humanity should give in and accept the Empire's demands. After all, resisting the Galactic Empire could mean disaster. But others, including President Elaine Cartwright, were adamant that Earth could not and would not be intimidated. "We cannot bow down to them," President Cartwright said, standing at the head of the table. "This is our planet, and we will not allow anyone, no matter how powerful, to dictate what happens here. We have a right to protect our home." Her words echoed in the room. There were murmurs of agreement, but also uncertainty. Some questioned whether Earth even had the power to stand up to the Empire. But Cartwright was firm in her conviction. "We have been isolated for too long. The Empire has underestimated us, and now we must show them that humanity is not to be ignored." The room fell silent as the leaders contemplated her words. The decision was made. Earth would not give in. But they knew they had to act quickly. They couldn't rely on the old methods of diplomacy. This would require something more. It would require unity and the full strength of humanity's resources. The first step was to ensure that Earth's defense systems were fully activated. For years, humanity had developed technology in secret, advanced weapons, defense shields, and other innovations that had never been shared with the galaxy. Now was the time to use them. Satellites, space stations, and hidden military bases across the planet were put on high alert. Earth's defenses were prepared to face any challenge, even the mighty Galactic Empire. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Empire, Grand Legate Vorthar received the message from Earth. He smiled to himself. "They think they can stop us," he muttered. "Let them try." He knew the Empire's fleet was unstoppable, and the people of Earth would soon learn that there was no way to defy the will of the Galactic Empire. The fleets were readied. Warships, cruisers, and advanced scouts, All moved into position, set to travel to the Sol system. Vorthar gave the command to proceed, confident that the Empire's overwhelming power would force Earth to submit. However, deep down, a nagging feeling lingered. There was something about Earth that made him wary. As the Imperial fleet began its journey, the eyes of the galaxy were on Earth. No one could predict how this confrontation would unfold. Would Earth back down, or would humanity show the galaxy that even the mightiest empire could be challenged? The first move had been made, and the fate of Earth, and perhaps the galaxy, was now in the balance. As the Imperial fleet made its way toward the Sol system, Earth's leaders gathered once again, knowing the weight of the decision ahead. The day after the Empire's announcement, global leaders convened in a secure underground council hall, a space hidden deep beneath the Earth's surface. From here, they would decide humanity's future. President Elaine Cartwright stood at the head of the table, her face serious but determined. Around her, representatives from every corner of the world took their seats, all eyes focused on her. The meeting had begun, and it was clear that no one was underestimating the gravity of the moment. "We are standing at the edge of a new chapter for Earth," Cartwright began. "The Empire wants to pass through our solar system like it's theirs to command. But this is our home, our planet, and we must show them that we will not be bullied into submission." Her words echoed throughout the room. Silence followed, as the leaders of Earth considered their next move. Would they send a delegation to negotiate, to try and reason with the Empire? Some argued that diplomacy was the best option. Others, however, felt that Earth's survival depended on showing the galaxy that humanity was not afraid. General Marcus Fields, one of the top military strategists, spoke next. His voice was calm, yet powerful. "We cannot simply rely on talks. The Empire will never respect us until we prove that we are capable of defending ourselves. We have advanced technology, we have weapons, and most importantly, we have unity. They may think they can walk all over us, but they're mistaken. We can't afford to show weakness." Cartwright nodded in agreement. "I've already spoken to scientists and engineers. We've been preparing for something like this for years. Earth isn't as defenseless as the Empire might think." The room buzzed with quiet conversations, but it was clear that Cartwright's leadership had inspired confidence. The idea of standing up to the Empire was terrifying to many, but it was also empowering. If humanity didn't act now, they could lose everything. Cartwright leaned forward, locking eyes with each person in the room. "I want every country, every government, and every organization on Earth to stand with us. This is not just a political issue. It's a matter of our survival and our freedom. If we bow to the Empire now, we will never have control over our own future." Her words struck a chord with everyone present. Earth's leaders understood what was at stake. This wasn't just about one country or one government. It was about all of humanity. For the first time in history, every nation, every people were united in a single cause. No longer would they be content to sit quietly in the corner of the galaxy, afraid to make waves. Now, they would make a stand. In the days that followed, the global military forces began to mobilize. Earth's most advanced defense systems were activated, many of which had been kept secret for years. Satellites equipped with powerful lasers were placed into orbit, while fleets of ships, once used for research and exploration, were retrofitted for combat. Earth's scientists, led by Dr. Serena Michaels, worked day and night to deploy new weapons. The most impressive of these was the Sol Shield, a massive energy barrier designed to protect Earth from any potential attacks. Back on the surface, millions of citizens were unaware of the full extent of the preparations taking place. News outlets reported the official statement from Earth's leaders, urging calm and unity. The people of Earth were told to be prepared, but were reassured that the planet was ready to face whatever came next. While humanity prepared for potential conflict, the Empire's Grand Legate Vorthar was not idle. His fleet, now fully equipped with the latest Imperial warships, was closing in on the Sol system. He knew Earth was putting up resistance, but he believed it was only a matter of time before they would surrender. The Empire's power was unmatched, and no planet had ever resisted their demands for long. Yet, as Vorthar reviewed the latest reports, something unsettled him. There was talk among the Empire's officers that Earth was not like other planets. The humans, despite their relatively primitive past, had shown an uncanny ability to adapt and innovate. They had created technologies that were far beyond what their small corner of the galaxy would suggest. And there were rumors, whispers, really, that humanity had even developed weapons that could challenge the Empire. Still, Vorthar dismissed these concerns. Let them make their preparations, he muttered to his officers. It won't change the outcome. They will fall in line, just like every other planet. Back on Earth, Cartwright's resolve only grew stronger. She stood before the world's media, speaking directly to humanity. We have made our decision. We will not let anyone, not even the Empire, tell us what to do with our world. We will stand together, united. This is our planet, and we will protect it at all costs. The world watched in awe. People from all walks of life, scientists, doctors, workers, students, came together, supporting their leaders. The message was clear. Humanity would fight for its sovereignty. And as the days passed, the weight of that decision began to settle in. The Imperial fleet was getting closer, but so was Earth's resolve. Humanity had chosen its path. There would be no backing down. The tension in space was palpable as the Galactic Empire's fleet approached the Sol system. Grand Legate Vorthar, commanding the fleet from his flagship, the Imperial Sovereign, could already feel the weight of his mission. He had been ordered to bring Earth to its knees, to make them realize that defying the Empire was not an option. But as his fleet drew closer to the edge of the solar system, he couldn't shake the growing sense of unease. Something didn't feel right. Vorthar dismissed his doubts. The Empire's might was unparalleled. Earth had made its stand, yes, but it was a foolish one. His fleet outnumbered Earth's forces, and the Empire had technologies far superior to anything humanity could muster. He knew that a simple show of force would cause the Earthlings to reconsider their position. He gave the order to approach. The fleet moved forward with precision, their powerful warships gliding through space toward their destination. A few smaller ships were dispatched first, scouting ahead to test the waters. Vorthar was confident that the humans would not be able to stop them. On Earth, President Cartwright and her team watched as the Empire's ships entered the edge of the solar system. Tension hung heavy in the air, but Cartwright remained calm. She had prepared for this moment, and she knew that the next few hours would be critical. Every move would be crucial. "Stand firm," she said, addressing the gathered leaders and military commanders. "The Empire will try to intimidate us, but we cannot afford to back down now." In the command center deep beneath the surface, General Marcus Fields stood alongside the Earth's top military leaders. They had been preparing for this day for weeks, making sure all defense systems were in place. As the first Imperial ships neared the boundary of Earth's space, they began to see signs of the humans' preparations. Defense satellites, energy shields, and hidden weapon systems that the Empire had never seen before. "This is it," General Fields said, his voice low but steady. "We're about to find out how serious Earth's defense really is." On the Imperial Sovereign, Vorthar's eyes narrowed as his sensors began to pick up something unusual. A strange energy signature appeared on his ship's display, something that had never been seen before. "What is that?" he demanded. His officers quickly analyzed the data. "Sir, it appears to be some sort of energy field. It's not anything we've encountered. It's unlike anything we've seen before." Vorthar's confidence faltered for a moment. He had not expected Earth to be so well prepared, but he quickly dismissed his hesitation. "It's a bluff. They're trying to scare us," he muttered. "Proceed with the plan." The smaller scouting ships, commanded by Admiral Kessler, moved closer to the energy field, their engines pushing them forward. But as they neared the boundary of the field, something strange happened. The ship's engines sputtered, and their systems began to fail. Power drained from their hulls, as if the very fabric of space itself was rejecting them. "Sir, we've lost power," Admiral Kessler reported. "Our systems are offline." The scouts drifted helplessly in space, unable to move or communicate with the rest of the fleet. The energy field had disabled them entirely. On the Imperial Sovereign, Vorther's officers scrambled to assess the situation. "It's the humans," Vorther growled, his hands gripping the edge of his command chair. "They have some sort of weapon, but it won't be enough to stop us." He gave the order to deploy more ships. The rest of the fleet moved in, their weapons charged and their shields raised. But as they entered the area where the scouts had been disabled, the same energy field began to affect them as well. Ships stalled, engines flickered, and systems malfunctioned. The Empire's advanced technology was being thwarted by something that seemed to have come out of nowhere. Back on Earth, the leaders watched the situation unfold on their screens. Cartwright's face remained calm, but inside, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity's hidden defenses had just made their first statement to the Empire. They had shown the galaxy that they weren't as powerless as they might have appeared. "What are they doing?" President Cartwright asked, her voice steady. "Why haven't they retreated?" General Field's face tightened as he studied the reports. "They're not retreating, ma'am. They're preparing for a larger assault. They may think this is just a temporary glitch." Cartwright nodded, her eyes focused on the displays. "We won't let them move forward. This is our planet, and we won't let them take it from us." At that moment, the Empire's fleet made another attempt to bypass Earth's defenses. But as they moved forward, another unexpected event occurred. Earth's Sol Shield, a massive energy barrier designed to protect the planet, activated. The barrier spread out from Earth's orbit, a shimmering wall of energy that enveloped the entire system. The Imperial fleet's progress came to an immediate halt as the shield pushed against them, forcing their ships to stop. "Impossible," Vorthar shouted. "They have a shield that can stop us." For the first time, the Empire's fleet was halted, not by force or firepower, but by the ingenuity of humanity. Earth's defense systems had proven more advanced than anyone had ever expected. The Empire had underestimated them, and now they were beginning to understand that humanity was not as weak as they had thought. Vorthar's expression darkened. He had thought this mission would be quick and easy, but now it seemed that the humans had a weapon of their own that could hold back the Empire. In the heart of the Empire, the Emperor himself received reports of the failure to advance. He was not pleased. How could this happen? The humans should have been swept aside easily. Vorthar, his mind racing, knew that something had to change. "The humans are stronger than we thought, Your Excellency, but we will not give up. We will find a way to break through." But as the Empire regrouped, the message was clear. Earth had taken its first step in showing the galaxy that it would not back down, and the Empire's path was no longer as certain as it once seemed. The Empire's fleet now hovered at the edge of Earth's solar system, its ships locked in place by the powerful Sol Shield. The massive energy barrier that Earth had created had stopped their advance completely. Vorthar, the Grand Legate of the Empire, stared at the holographic display in front of him, his mind racing as he tried to think of a solution. He had underestimated Earth's defenses, and now, for the first time, he was unsure of the outcome. "They'd blocked us," Vorthar said, his voice strained. This shouldn't be possible." His officers worked frantically at their stations, trying to find a way through the shield. But no matter what they tried, the barrier held firm, its energy resonating with a power they had never encountered before. "Sir, we've tried every angle. There's no way through the Sol Shield," said Admiral Kessler, her voice filled with frustration. Vorthar clenched his fists. "The humans are more resourceful than we gave them credit for, but we will not fail. Find a weakness. There must be a way." Meanwhile, on Earth, President Elaine Cartwright stood before the world's leaders, her face calm but filled with determination. The news of the Empire's halt had spread quickly. filling every corner of the planet with a sense of pride and unity. Humanity had fought back, and for the first time, they had shown the Empire that they were not to be underestimated. "We've done well so far," Cartwright said, addressing the gathered leaders. "But this is only the beginning. The Empire will not give up easily. We must remain strong and prepared for what comes next." General Marcus Fields stood beside her, studying the situation closely. "The shield is holding, but we don't know how long it will last. We need to make sure our defenses are ready for anything they throw at us." Cartwright nodded. "We've prepared for this moment. But I also want to make sure we keep communication open with the rest of the galaxy. The Empire may be powerful, but if we show that we have allies, they might think twice about their next move." As Earth's military and defense systems continued to monitor the Empire's fleet, Cartwright's focus shifted to another issue: the Empire's desire to conquer. Earth wasn't just defending itself, it was sending a message to the entire galaxy. This was humanity's home, and they would not give it up to anyone, no matter how advanced or powerful they were. Back in the Empire's flagship, the Imperial Sovereign, Vorthar paced back and forth in his private quarters, frustrated by the situation. His mind raced as he thought of his next move. He had never encountered resistance like this before, and he knew the Emperor would not tolerate failure. If he didn't find a way to break through the Sol shield soon, there would be consequences. "What if we try a different approach?" Vorthar muttered aloud, more to himself than anyone else. "What if we attempt a diplomatic solution?" But as soon as he thought of it, he dismissed the idea. The Empire was built on power, not negotiation. The Emperor had no interest in making peace with a planet that dared to challenge their authority. Earth had made its choice, and so had the Empire. "I will not fail," Vorthar declared, slamming his fist into the table. "Prepare for the next phase. We'll find another way." At that moment, a soft beep from his communicator caught his attention. A message had come through from the Emperor himself. "Grand Legate Vorthar," the voice of the Emperor boomed through the speaker. "I have been informed of the setback. The humans have proven more resilient than expected. But do not waste any more time. Break through their defenses, or I will find someone who can." Vorthar's face darkened. He could feel the Emperor's pressure mounting. If he didn't find a way to break Earth's defenses soon, he would lose his position, and possibly his life. The Emperor was known for his ruthless treatment of those who failed. "Understood, Your Excellency," Vorthar responded, his voice tight with resolve. "We'll find a way." As Vorthar turned to issue orders, the Empire began to prepare for a more forceful approach. They had already sent more ships into the solar system, and now they were considering the use of their most destructive weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of piercing through the Sol shield. It was a last resort, but Vorthar was willing to use it if necessary. On Earth, Cartwright and her team were doing everything in their power to prevent such an attack. They had been in constant communication with the best minds in the galaxy, seeking allies who could help them in this crucial moment. Although the Empire was vast, humanity's courage and determination had inspired others. Earth wasn't alone in this fight. A new alliance was forming. "I've been in contact with several distant star systems," Cartwright said, addressing the Global Council. "They've pledged their support. Earth's message has reached the galaxy, and now we have allies who are willing to stand by us. The Empire cannot be allowed to have its way." General Fields smiled, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "This is it. We have the support we need, but we still have to prepare for the worst." As Earth's defenses remained firm, the message was clear: Earth would not surrender. Humanity had taken its stand, and now the Empire would have to decide whether to continue its relentless pursuit or to recognize that Earth was not just another world to conquer. The battle for Earth's future had only just begun. The question was no longer whether Earth would survive. It was how far the Empire was willing to go to make them kneel. The war for Earth's survival was at a crossroads. The Empire's fleet loomed at the edge of the solar system, a massive force that had already tried to break through Earth's defenses. Yet, despite the overwhelming power of the Galactic Empire, humanity had not only held its ground but had managed to stop their advances. The Sol shield had proven to be a powerful obstacle, and the Empire's smaller ships had been disabled by the strange energy fields created by Earth's hidden technologies. But now, the Empire was preparing to escalate the conflict. Vorthar, the Grand Legate, had received orders from the Emperor himself. The time for negotiation was over. The Empire would use its most powerful weapon to bring Earth to its knees. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. On Earth, President Cartwright watched the reports come in with a steady gaze. The Empire had not yet given up, and it was clear that they were preparing something big. The energy readings were off the charts, and the Empire was beginning to deploy their most destructive weapon, the Imperial Cannon. It was a weapon of unimaginable power, capable of piercing through the Sol shield with a single shot. "We need to act now," General Marcus Field said, his voice tense. "The Empire is readying their weapon. If they fire that cannon, our shield will fall, and they will have access to our world." Cartwright nodded solemnly. The Sol shield was Earth's last line of defense, and if it fell, there would be nothing to stop the Empire from conquering the planet. She knew that humanity couldn't wait much longer. "We've prepared for this," Cartwright said. "But we need more than just our defenses. We need to send a message to the Empire, one they can't ignore." In the heart of the Empire's fleet, Vorthar stood before his command console, his hands clasped behind his back. The Imperial cannon was charged, ready to fire. His fleet had gathered in formation, the enormous weapon pointing directly at Earth. He knew that this would be the moment that decided everything. "Fire when ready," Vorthar ordered, his voice cold and steady. "The humans will learn that resistance is futile." The cannon hummed to life, and a massive beam of energy surged forward, cutting through the cold expanse of space. It headed straight for the Sol shield, the most powerful defense humanity had ever built. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Would the shield hold? Or would the Empire's might tear through it, leaving Earth vulnerable? Back on Earth, the scientists monitoring the shield systems watched in horror as the energy from the Imperial cannon approached. The Sol shield shimmered under the intense pressure, but it held. The energy beam struck the shield and was absorbed, dissipating across its surface like water hitting a rock. The shield was intact. The Empire's first attack had failed. Vorthar watched the results in disbelief. The cannon's energy had been diverted, but it hadn't penetrated the shield. The humans had outdone themselves once again. For a brief moment, the Grand Legate felt doubt creeping into his mind. The Empire was supposed to be unstoppable. How was it that this small planet had managed to survive so much? Again, Vorthar ordered, his voice now tinged with frustration. "Fire again. We will not fail." The cannon charged once more, and a second energy beam shot out, even larger and more powerful than the first. It sped toward Earth, its energy crackling with power. The fleet watched, their eyes fixed on the attack as it hurtled toward the shield. This time, they were certain it would succeed. But once again, the Sol shield held firm. The second beam crashed into the shield with a brilliant explosion of light, but the energy was absorbed, leaving the shield unscathed. The humans had done it again. They had proven their resilience. In Earth's command center, the team of scientists and military leaders erupted into cheers as the shield held strong. They had expected the Empire to fire again, and they had worked tirelessly to ensure that their defenses could withstand it. The shield's energy had been carefully calculated to endure even the most powerful of weapons. President Cartwright smiled, a mixture of pride and relief filling her heart. Humanity had done it. They had stopped the Empire's might, at least for now. But she knew this victory wouldn't last long. The Empire would regroup, and they would try again. Earth couldn't rest on its laurels. "This is our moment," Cartwright said, turning to General Fields. "We've shown the Empire that we are not afraid. We have to keep pushing forward." General Fields nodded, his face determined. The Sol shield can hold, but we must keep improving it. The Empire will find another way. We need to prepare for whatever they throw at us next." As the Empire's fleet began to retreat slightly, recalibrating its weapons for another assault, Earth's leaders made a crucial decision. They would not wait for the next attack. Instead, they would take the fight to the Empire. The message would be clear. Earth was not a world to be conquered. It was a world that would fight back. Vorthar, on his flagship, turned to his officers as his frustration reached its peak. "Prepare for the next phase," he said, his voice full of barely controlled rage. "The humans will pay for this. We will not be stopped." As the Empire regrouped, preparing for another attack, Earth's resolve grew stronger. Humanity had won the first round, but the battle was far from over. The final stand was still to come, and the fate of the Earth would depend on how far humanity was willing to go to protect its home. And as Earth's forces rallied, a new hope began to rise. The Empire had underestimated humanity before. It would not make that mistake again. The Empire was furious. Despite their overwhelming might, their most powerful weapon, the Imperial cannon, had failed to break through the Earth's Sol shield. For the first time, the Grand Legate Vorthar felt the sting of doubt. He had never faced such resistance, not from a planet like Earth, a relatively small world compared to the vast Empire. The Exodus fleet was the Empire's secret weapon, a fleet of advanced, smaller ships equipped with the most destructive technology the Empire had developed in centuries. These ships could bypass shields by focusing energy in ways that would shatter defenses in minutes. They had been kept hidden for situations just like this one, where conventional weapons failed. Across the galaxy, rumors of the Exodus fleet had circulated for years, but no one had ever seen it in action. Until now. On Earth, President Elaine Cartwright and General Marcus Fields watched the Empire's movements closely. The Sol shield had withstood 2 direct hits from the Imperial cannon, but Earth's leaders knew that this peace might be short-lived. They couldn't let their guard down. The Empire had more tricks up its sleeve. "General Fields," Cartwright said, her voice calm but filled with determination, "we need to be ready. The Empire won't stop. We've seen what they can do, but we also know they're not invincible." General Fields nodded. "I've been reviewing the Empire's tactics, and we may have a chance to catch them off guard. If they deploy the Exodus fleet, we need to act fast. Their ships are smaller, faster, and harder to detect. It's going to be a challenge." Cartwright's eyes hardened. "We've faced worse. Humanity has always overcome its challenges. We're not going to let the Empire take our home." As the hours passed, the Empire's fleet began to shift positions. A new formation was taking shape, and Earth's defense systems detected a strange energy surge, much different from the earlier attempts. The Exodus fleet was on the move. Vorthar had made his move. Earth had no time to waste. "Activate the planetary defense grid," General Fields ordered, his voice steady. "Prepare all interceptors and planetary shields for combat. We cannot afford to fail now." Cartwright stood tall, looking at the holographic map of Earth's solar system. The Empire's ships were closing in, and Earth's forces had to be ready. Her mind raced as she remembered the millions of people across the world who were depending on her leadership. She couldn't let them down. Across the planet, military forces scrambled into action. The sky was filled with the hum of fighters and drones as Earth's defense systems activated in full force. The Sol shield shimmered, still holding, but for how long? Humanity's best hope lay in their ability to adapt quickly to the Empire's ever-evolving tactics. In space, the Exodus fleet moved toward Earth's defenses at incredible speed, their small ships darting in and out of formation, like predators hunting their prey. They were fast, efficient, and deadly. Each ship was a beacon of the Empire's technological supremacy, a testament to President Cartwright exhaled deeply, her face filled with relief but not triumph. This battle was over, but the war was far from won. The Empire was not done yet, And she knew the next challenge would be even greater. Humanity had taken a huge step forward, but they could not afford to rest. The Empire would surely regroup, and when they did, they would come back stronger than before. Earth had won this round, but the fight for survival had only just begun. After the crushing defeat of the Exodus fleet, the Empire had no choice but to retreat. For the first time in the history of the Galactic Empire, a world had dared to stand up to them and succeed. Earth, a small planet on the edge of the galaxy, had forced their mighty armada to turn back. It was a victory that would go down in history. But even as Earth celebrated, the leaders of the Empire were not idle. Behind closed doors, the Emperor raged at the loss. He couldn't afford another failure. The rebellion of a single planet could not be allowed to continue. He ordered his fleet to regroup, to prepare for a much larger, more devastating assault. In Earth's command center, President Elaine Cartwright and General Marcus Fields knew that the war was far from over. The Empire would regroup, rebuild, and return with an even stronger force. Humanity had won a victory, but the real challenge was still to come. Cartwright stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, her eyes tracing the movements of the remaining Empire forces. "We've shown them that we can stand up to them," she said, her voice steady. "But they won't give up. The real fight is ahead of us." General Fields nodded. "The Empire will send everything they have. We need to prepare for their next attack. This time, we won't be able to rely on surprises. We'll need to have every defense ready." In the weeks that followed, Earth's forces began to rebuild their defenses. The Sol Shield was reinforced, and new weapons were developed to counter the Empire's advanced technology. Military forces across the planet worked together, united by a single goal: to ensure that humanity's home would not fall to the Empire. The Galactic Alliance, which had once been divided, now stood behind Earth. Planets that had been too afraid to defy the Empire before were now sending support, both in terms of resources and military aid. A new alliance had been formed, one that would challenge the Empire's dominance. As the months passed, the Empire's fleet finally returned, more powerful than ever. The massive armada moved toward Earth, its vast numbers dwarfing the forces that had previously attacked. Vorthar, now promoted to Supreme Commander, stood at the front of the fleet, his eyes fixed on the blue and green planet ahead. "This time," he said to his officers, "we finish what we started." The Empire's Titan-class ships, the largest and most advanced in their arsenal, were deployed at the front of the fleet. They were equipped with weapons capable of vaporizing entire cities in an instant. The Empire had made it clear they would stop at nothing to crush Earth's defiance. Back on Earth, Cartwright, General Fields, and the leaders of the Galactic Alliance watched the incoming fleet with a mixture of dread and determination. They knew that this would be their last chance to protect their home. "Deploy the defender ships," Fields ordered. "We need to keep the Empire's Titans at bay." The defender ships were Earth's newest weapon, designed specifically to counter the Empire's massive warships. They were faster, more agile, and equipped with powerful weapons that could disable the Titan's systems. The plan was simple: use hit-and-run tactics to slow down the Empire's advance, while the ground forces prepared for the final battle. As the two fleets closed in, the air was filled with tension. Humanity's heart raced, knowing that this could be their last stand. But no one faltered. Every soldier, every pilot, every leader stood firm. The will to protect Earth burned brightly in their hearts. The battle began. The defender ships darted across the sky, launching precise strikes at the Empire's Titans. Energy beams clashed with shields, and explosions filled the void of space. Earth's forces fought with everything they had, their advanced technology and determination pushing back the Empire's might. For hours, the battle raged on. The Empire's Titans were powerful, but Earth's forces were relentless. They fought with a fire that the Empire had never seen before. Each strike, each maneuver, was a testament to humanity's will to survive. As the battle reached its peak, Cartwright watched from her command center. "We can't let them break through," she said, her voice filled with urgency. This is it. This is the moment. Then, as if the heavens themselves were watching over Earth, the unexpected happened. A massive energy pulse surged through the battlefield, emanating from the Sol shield. The pulse hit the Empire's fleet with a force so powerful that it sent shockwaves through the ships, disabling their weapons and shields. The Titan-class ships, once thought invincible, began to fall. One by one, the Empire's warships were disabled. The Exodus fleet had been a failure, and now the Titan-class ships followed suit. The Empire's overwhelming force had been turned against them, and Earth's strength had broken their back. Vorthar watched in disbelief as his fleet began to disintegrate. He knew that this defeat would cost him everything. Back on Earth, the victory was celebrated, but the leaders knew that this war had changed the galaxy forever. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer a small, helpless world. They were a force to be reckoned with. The Galactic Empire had learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the will of humanity. President Cartwright stood before the world, addressing the people of Earth and their allies. Today, we prove that no matter how powerful our enemies may be, the spirit of humanity will always rise. We will defend our home, and we will protect the freedom of every living being in the galaxy. And as the people of Earth celebrated, they knew this victory would not be their last. The war was over, but humanity's place in the galaxy was just beginning. Earth had proven that it would not fall, no matter the cost.